Hey, what up, guys? So I'm coming to you this morning. Want to discuss uh, want to discuss the big time potential matchup that's in talks right now between Mikey Garcia and Danny Garcia. There's actually a new segment I'm gonna do with all my videos. Is I already told you guys I'm gonna be discussing big time fights that are significant to even the casual fans. I'm gonna start giving you previews on those probably about a month out. And this one in July, in a couple months, I'll give my take on who I think's gonna win, how the fight breaks down, what each guy needs to do. But this one, I want to start doing the initial announcements on fights, like my opinion on the fight, because I want to send a shout out to my boy Crucito. Thanks, man. I appreciate you motivating me to do this because he asked my opinion on the fight, and me and him were going back and forth. And I was just like, why am I texting all this instead of just posting a video so everybody can see and give my opinions and hear me, and all that stuff. So, first off, I love the matchup between Mikey and Danny Garcia. I love the matchup. But I think Mikey is biting off more than he can chew. After the Errol Spence fight, I mean, first off, that fight I thought was a huge mistake for Mikey. I told everybody that. I didn't think he stood a chance in that fight. I know a lot of you guys are Mikey Garcia fans. I am too. Don't take it the wrong way. I love Mikey. I've always loved Mike. I've loved Mikey since he first started. But, I've been watching a lot of these guys for years, and I also watched Spence for years. A few years before he got big. So maybe I just knew him a little better than most people. But moving up 2 weight classes against a slick southpaw who can box and punch with power, and a guy that's going to be eventually a middleweight in Errol Spence, I just knew Mikey didn't stand a chance going in. And the fact that he went 12 rounds is impressive, but he got his ass whipped and dominated. And to me, Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence, they're on a pound for pound, something else type of level with Vasily Lomachenko and all those guys. Then you got your second tier welterweights, which really aren't second tier fighters. You got your Sean Porter, Keith Thurman, Danny Garcia, Manny Pacquiao. Those next 4 guys right there alone are fucking really, really good fighters. Spence and Crawford are great fighters and pound for pound type fighters. So the fact that Mikey skipped over these really good fighters and went after a great fighter like Spence, you got to give Mikey props for that. But now he's still staying in a weight class that we don't know he's good at. We know he doesn't have any power. And he's going to face off against a really good fighter after getting his ass whipped against a great guy. I just think Mikey's taking too big a risk too fast. I mean, it just doesn't make sense. Mikey's still a younger type fighter. He's only like 30, 31 at the most. And he should be feeling out this weight class, fighting second and third tier welterweights. And the PBC and Al Heyman has plenty of guys. This is a division that is ruled by Al Heyman. So why is he fighting a guy like this? He's got Omar Figueroa Jr. He already beat Adrian Broner, but I mean, there's Adrian Granados who just got his ass whipped against Danny. He beat Sergey Lipinets, who's actually a welterweight, just beat Lamont Peterson. There's him up at welterweight. There's other guys that he could be fighting to test his limit, to test his power, to get comfortable at the weight before, you jump in against a guy like Danny. Now he's running into the possibility of losing a second straight fight. He's taking a big risk is what I'm saying. Not to say he doesn't stand a chance, but damn, Danny's a good-ass fighter, and Danny just proved that against Adrian Granados, how good he is. And I don't know, man. I just think Mikey's biting off more than he can chew. Stylistically, it's a better matchup for him, yes. Garcia is not Errol Spence, yes. But damn, man, I mean, I would take a little bit better of a turn before I went up against a guy like Danny right now. Like I said, I love Mikey. Nothing against him at all, so please don't take that the wrong way. But, I think Danny, he's feeding right into Danny right here. But in a sense of Danny's side of it, I think it's a smart choice because Danny is the odd man out right now of the top 5 guys that fight for the PBC. He's not going to get a shot at Crawford. We know that. Then you got the other 5 guys, and the 4 guys besides Danny. It's going to make, all those guys are fighting each other. Porter's going to face Spence most likely next. And then we know now Pacquiao's fighting Thurman, which I'm going to do a video on what I think about that fight. So, that being said, Danny's the odd man out right now looking for a big fight. This is a money fight for Danny. This is a great fucking choice for Danny. I think he's the favorite going in, and I think he's going to be riding high going into this fight. I don't even like Danny. I hope Mikey beats him. I don't know. Right now, I just can't see it. I don't think Mikey is that good of a welterweight. Maybe he'll surprise us. Maybe he'll impress us. Maybe the second time in the weight will be better than the first. I'm not to say it's not going to be somewhat competitive. I don't know. I don't know. I just think Danny times his punches really well. And I know Danny is going to put his foot on the gas pedal where Errol Spence maybe didn't. And I know Danny's going to be more aggressive than Errol Spence was because Spence didn't know what he was going to get in Mikey Garcia. So he just stood in the middle of the ring and beat the shit out of him by outboxing him cleanly. And he admitted, hey, I probably could have went for it and I did it. You think Danny's going to be afraid? I don't think Danny's ever been hurt ever since I've seen him. Maybe, but I don't remember him ever being knocked down since I've watched him fight. And I've been watching Danny since 2011, 2012. You think Danny's afraid of Mikey's power? Not at all. So, I don't know. I think right now, I think it's a mistake for Mikey. I think it's a great move by Danny to fill that void of a big fight while he waits around for one of the other four guys and whoever the winners are out of that. All that's going to do is feed into him getting that big fight after. But, it's a high-risk fight, but it's a great matchup between two guys that boxing fans really like to watch, two exciting fighters, two good boxers, two guys that normally have good power, even though Mikey, we know doesn't have power up at this weight. But we'll see. You never know. I mean, maybe he knows something that we don't. I said that with the Spence fight. I said maybe he sees something that the rest of us don't, that the experts don't. I know I'm a California kid. I grew up in California. I'm Mexican myself, guys. But, I know a lot of Mexican fans get pissed off at me because I pick against the Mexican fighters. It's not a bias against my own race. It's just, my opinion on boxing and knowing boxing the way I do. I don't just lean towards the guy because of race or because, I want him to win. I go to the guy that I think is going to win. And that's what I said with Spence. I can't stand Danny Garcia. I can't stand him. But he's a good, really good fighter. And I just think right now this is a tough matchup for Mikey. But we'll see. It's a great matchup between two good, solid fighters, though. We'll see what happens. It's going to draw a lot of attention. They're talking a pay-per-view for this fight, which is big. That shows you how big these two guys are. And I'm looking forward to it. It's exciting. So I'll give my preview on it in July. I'll be giving a preview on this fight, what each guy needs to do to win the fight, and who I think is going to win. And, I hope you guys tune in for that. I hope you guys enjoy this new segment. I'll start doing it more and more when it's bigger fights that are worth doing it. And, again, shout out to my boy Crucito. Shout out to my boy Jay. Those are my two biggest supporters right now. I really appreciate you guys, man. Much love sent out. Thank you for the love in return. True Boxing. Been hit with the truth.